Hey everyone, welcome back to Speak English with Confidence, your favorite place to improve your English through real, natural conversations. I'm Jennifer, and today's topic is something I get asked about all the time. People message me and say, Jennifer, I studied English for years. I passed my exams, but when I go to work, I freeze. I can't speak. What is wrong with me? And I always say the same thing. Nothing is wrong with you. Nothing at all. And today, I'm going to explain exactly why this happens. And more importantly, I'm going to give you 4 practical solutions that you can start using this week. This episode is especially for anyone living or working in an English-speaking country, the USA, the UK, Canada, or Australia. So stay with me until the end, because I also have a vocabulary section for you with all the key words from today's episode. Let's get started. So first, why does this happen? Why do so many immigrants, people who genuinely know English, still struggle to speak at work? There are 3 main reasons, and I want you to really listen to these, because I think at least one of them is going to feel very familiar to you.
Reason 1. Fear of making mistakes. The first reason is the fear of making mistakes. You know exactly what you want to say inside your head. The idea is there. But the moment you open your mouth, your mind goes blank. You hesitate. You go quiet. And then the moment passes, and you missed your chance to speak. This is not a language problem. This is a confidence problem. You are so afraid of saying something wrong grammar, wrong word, wrong pronunciation, that you end up saying nothing at all. And here is the irony. Your silence makes things worse. Your colleagues might think you don't understand, when really you understand everything. You just couldn't get the words out in time. Reason 2, the classroom gap. The second reason is what I call the classroom gap. Most people learned English from textbooks or in a formal classroom, and that English is very different from the English people actually use at work every day. For example, in school, you learned, how do you do? But in a real American or British office, people say, hey, how's it going? Or what's up? These feel completely different, right? Or you learned perfect grammar. But at work, native speakers use contractions, phrasal verbs, idioms, shortcuts. They say gonna instead of going to. They say wanna instead of want to. They say, let's circle back on that, instead of let's return to that topic later.
So you know the language, but you don't know how people really use it. That gap between classroom English and real English is what makes you feel lost at work. Reason 3, accent anxiety. And the third reason, this one is very common and very painful, is accent anxiety. You feel embarrassed about how you sound. You think, my accent is too strong. People can't understand me. They're going to judge me. And so you speak less. You avoid situations where you have to speak. You let others talk in meetings. You send an email instead of picking up the phone. But here's the truth I want you to remember. A foreign accent is not a problem. It is not a barrier. Some of the most successful, most respected professionals in the world speak English with a strong accent. What matters is clarity. What matters is confidence, not perfection. Okay, before we get to the solutions, let me quickly break down some of the key vocabulary from what we just talked about. These are words and phrases that will help you understand and talk about this topic naturally. Mind goes blank when you suddenly can't think of anything to say. Example, in the meeting, my mind went blank and I forgot what I was going to say. Hesitate. To pause before doing or saying something because you feel unsure. Example, don't hesitate. Just speak. It's okay to make mistakes. Classroom gap. The difference between formal textbook English and real everyday English. Example, I had a big classroom gap when I first started working in London. Contractions. Shortened word combinations like don't, can't, I'm, will. Very natural and common in spoken English. Phrasal verbs.
verbs combined with a preposition that have a special meaning. For example, circle back means to return to a topic. Loop in means to include someone. Accent anxiety. Feeling nervous or embarrassed about the way you pronounce words in English? Example, my accent anxiety made it hard for me to speak in meetings. Vicious cycle. When one problem causes another problem, which makes the first problem worse. Example, anxiety causes mistakes, and mistakes cause more anxiety. It's a vicious cycle. Great. Keep those words in mind as we go into the solutions now. Okay, now the part you've been waiting for. How do we fix this? I have 4 practical solutions for you. And I want to be very clear, these are not complicated. You can start doing all of these this week. Solution 1. Stop trying to be perfect. Start trying to be understood. This is the most important mindset shift you need to make. When you're at work, your goal is not to speak like a news anchor. Your goal is to communicate your idea clearly. Nobody is grading your grammar. Your manager cares whether you understood the task. Your colleague cares whether you can help solve the problem. That is it. So from today, give yourself permission to make mistakes. Make them proudly, because every mistake means you tried, and trying is how you grow. Solution 2. Learn workplace phrases, not just grammar rules. There are specific phrases that come up again and again in English-speaking workplaces. If you learn these phrases, you will sound so much more natural and confident immediately. Let me give you some examples right now. Listen carefully and try to remember these.
I'll get back to you on that. This means I will give you an answer later. Let me loop in my manager. This means let me include my manager in this conversation. Can we circle back to this later? This means can we return to this topic in a future meeting? Just to clarify, you use this when you want to make sure everyone understands something. Does that make sense? You say this after explaining something to check that the other person understood. These 5 phrases alone will make you sound more professional and more confident in any English-speaking workplace. Save them, practice them, use them tomorrow. Solution 3. Practice speaking out loud every single day. This is the one most people skip, and it is the most important one. Reading English and listening to English is not enough. Speaking is a physical skill. Your mouth, your tongue, your breathing, they all need practice. So here is what I want you to do. Every day, even just 5 or 10 minutes, speak English out loud. Talk to yourself. Narrate what you're doing. When you're making breakfast, say, I'm making eggs. Now I'm adding some salt. The toast is almost ready. It sounds funny, I know, but it works. Because you're training your brain and your mouth to produce English automatically, without thinking, without translating, without hesitating. You can also try shadowing. Listen to a podcast, like this one, and repeat what you hear. Copy the rhythm. Copy the intonation. Copy the speed. This is one of the fastest ways to improve your spoken English. Solution 4. Own your accent. Stop apologizing for it. The next time you're about to say, sorry, my English is not very good, stop. Don't say that, because it's not true, and it's not helpful. Instead, just keep speaking. Speak slowly if you need to. Speak clearly. And if someone doesn't understand you, simply say, let me rephrase that. Then try a different way to explain your idea. Your accent tells the story of where you come from. It shows that you learned a second language, which is something most native speakers have never even tried to do. That is something to be proud of, not ashamed of. Confidence, not perfection, is what makes you easy to understand. When you speak with confidence, people lean in and listen. When you speak with anxiety, people feel that too. So choose confidence. Okay. Now, let me quickly break down the key vocabulary from our solutions section. Mindset shift, changing the way you think about something. Example, Learning English needs a mindset shift from fear to confidence. Loop in, to include someone in a conversation or email thread. Example, I'll loop in our team leader so she knows what's happening. Circle back, to return to a topic or conversation later. Example, we're running out of time. Let's circle back on this tomorrow. Just to clarify, a phrase you use to make sure something is understood correctly. Example, just to clarify, the deadline is Friday, not Thursday, right? Shadow, shadowing, copying someone's speech to improve your own. Example, I practice by shadowing native speakers on YouTube. And that's it for today's episode of the English Leap podcast. Let me give you a quick recap of everything we covered today. We talked about the 3 reasons immigrants struggle to speak English at work: fear of mistakes, the classroom gap, and accent anxiety. And we looked at 4 solutions: stop trying to be perfect, learn real
Workplace phrases, practice speaking every day, and own your accent with confidence. I want to leave you with one final thought. You already know English. You already have everything you need. What you need now is simply the courage to use it. And courage grows every single time you try. So, tomorrow, speak one more sentence in English than you did today. Just one more. And the day after, one more again. Small steps. Every day. That is how fluency is built. If this episode helped you, please give it a thumbs up. Share it with someone who needs to hear this, and subscribe to Speak English with Class so you never miss an episode. I'll see you in the next one. Keep practicing and keep speaking with class. Bye for now.